The Old Republic is a time period in Star Wars that we don't really see that often. Even nowadays, with shows like The Acolyte, we aren't going as far back in the timeline as we would see in the Knights of the Old Republic games. This time period is very interesting to myself and a lot of other fans, as we see a lot of really complex and deep characters like Darth Revan, Darth Malak, Bastila Shan, Darth Nyus, and so much more. So, just like any man in their mid-20s, I decided to spend my Sunday indoors building 3 Lego Mocs of this time period all in one day. Each Moc will feature at least one Sith Lord from the Old Republic era. Some of these will be custom minifigures and others will be authentic Lego, but you will see shortly. So sit back and relax, kick your feet up, maybe grab yourself a sippy, and enjoy as I build 3 Old Republic Mocs all in one day. The first build will be on a simple 16x16 base plate and feature the Lord of Pain himself, Darth Sion. Commonly remembered as the Sith who was literally too angry to die, Darth Sion was a Sith marauder who relied on the dark side of the Force to keep his body intact after suffering multiple wounds that should have killed him. Sion was also a member of the Sith Triumvirate, which consisted of himself, Darth Traya, and Darth Nyus, who, spoiler alert, you will be seeing later as you saw in the thumbnail. But in this Moc, I wanted to try some new methods. I did some new stuff for trees, and I incorporated some Old Republic troopers, which I was able to make by swapping out the helmets on the 501st Heavy Troopers that we see in the most recent battle pack with these blue ones that I actually got from Clone Army Customs. Altogether, I'm very happy with this first Moc, as it shows just how desperate these Republic troopers are as Darth Sion comes to serve some Sith justice. Let me know how you think this one turned out. I'm super happy with it, and on to the next one. In my second Moc of the day, I decided to lay down 4 of these 16x16 base plates, making it a 32x32 base. And this Moc will feature the Lord of Hunger himself, Darth Nyus.
Who would have thought? Not me.
Nyus was known as the Lord of Hunger due to his insatiable appetite for the life force of others. He was the most powerful Sith of this era, and he is definitely a fan favorite from Knights of the Old Republic too. For me, this is definitely one of my favorite Siths from the Old Republic era, just because his story and lore is just so interesting. So if you do not know much about him, I highly recommend checking out some videos about him. So in this Moc, I took inspiration from the KOTOR 2 era where the Jedi were in hiding. Nyus finds them in an abandoned temple and proceeds to suck the life out of them.
Excuse me, what?
I really enjoyed this build because I tried new techniques for the angled arches, and I also really enjoyed adding the shrubbery to show kind of the age detail of the setting. Altogether, I think this build is a great showcase of this Darth Nyus minifigure, and I am super happy with how it turned out. Now, you absolutely cannot talk about the Old Republic without mentioning the legend himself, Darth Revan. Revan has to be one of my all-time favorite characters, and he is one of the most complex characters in all of the Star Wars lore. Revan and Malak were known as the Jedi who won the Mandalorian Wars. However, once the war was over, when they returned to the Republic, they were under the control of the Sith Emperor, and they returned as conquerors. Ultimately, Revan's story is a tragic one, and again, it's one I highly recommend you check out in your free time. But for this build, I took inspiration from a fan-made video of Darth Malak challenging Revan on the bridge of his Star Destroyer, which ultimately leads to Revan slicing off Malak's jaw, forcing him to wear the mask you see in the KOTOR games. I tried some new techniques with this build as well. This was like my first time actually building the bridge of a flagship, so using those Durasteel window plates and the curves of it all was different, but I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I also tried to add some red where I could, because this kind of just felt right to get that Old Republic Sith feel, but all I had left to do was to add my minifigs. I took the Sith officers from the Sith Trooper battle pack and turned them into some deck hands for this, and I also used the black droid from the new TIE Fighter set. Of course, I also used the brand new Darth Malak minifigure, and then this beautiful custom Darth Revan minifigure that I recently got. Again, I was super happy with this Moc. This has always been something I have wanted to build, and I think it is a great way to end a day of Moc building. Overall, I am super happy with all 3 of these builds. I'm happy that I finally got to make some Mocs using these awesome, sick minifigures, and I'm happy I can share it with y'all. But out of all 3 of the builds we saw today, which 3 were your favorite? And out of all 4 of the Sith Lords we see, which one of those were your favorite? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments. But thanks for watching this video. If you like this one-day challenge, check out my other one right here. And if you like these minifigures, I did a really cool video where I showcase a bunch of different minifigures, all less than $10. But besides that, thanks for swinging by the cantina, and I hope you enjoy your travels.